solutions for marketing activities. Also have some experience around, application development, in general. So, and when, I was told about doing this, particularly, trying to look at that infusion between AI and marketing, as a need in today's marketing space, I just felt, okay, well, let me come. I'll try to be a little bit not too academic. I would, just try to take us through that journey. For some of us, it's something we already know. For some of us, it's something we are going to also be learning some new things. And in between it, I would like to take, I would like to come to the floor and get some feedback. And at the last segment of my presentation, I would like us to, get dirty and maybe pick one AI tool and see how, as a marketer, we can actually use it to our advantage. So I'll jump right straight to it. I'm going to permit me. I really don't use Zoom that much. I'm a Google person, so I can find this space a little bit new. Just want to share my screen. All right. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you just say hi?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still, yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's interesting. All right. Okay.
You can see the green button that says share screen.
Oh, yeah. So I just have a little, I need to authorize my device to be able to allow Zoom. That's going to be the Zoom app. Just 1 second. Screen recording. Let's put the Zoom app in there. Okay. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to quit and reopen this app. Apple will not allow you to share. So I may just go off and just quickly come back in, okay?
That's no problem, sir.
All right.
All right. You'll be joining us very soon. Many thanks for your patience. In the meantime, you can also join us live on YouTube. The link is in the chat box, so you could just click on it, share with your friends, share with your colleagues, so we can have a great webinar today. We'll be expecting Mr. Fola Akimolayan very soon. So just stay tuned and we'll be back.
Okay, sorry about that break in transmission. I'm back now, and I think I will be able to share my, exactly, I can see my screen. Just go straight ahead and share that. All right, so I'll just, like I said, I will just jump right into it. I'm not just going to waste our time. We're going to be talking about 4 major key pointers here. We want to understand what AI is in marketing as of today. We would also be interested in, why and how that perfect match can be, why it should be made and how it should be made. And then we're also going to look at some certain use cases of AI in marketing as of today. And then we look at integrating AI into our entire marketing strategy, planning, whatever thing we're hoping to do with AI. And lastly, we'll go into some interactive sessions just so we see how this is used in real time. Okay. Now, for everybody, I mean, for some of the people I see here, we've been marketers for quite a very long time. And we know that it's all about understanding the customer, influencing their journey, being able to say, okay, we understand the mind, or we have the mind of the consumer. We have it right here. And we can infer, we can create, we can predict, we can do all of that. Now, with AI, it's even a lot easier these days because you can have near to accurate predictions, near to accurate, targeting, and making this whole entire work of marketing a lot easier. And there are quite a lot of tools out there. Some of them are based on the excessive data that platforms have been able to gather over the years. And also, the people who are fueling those data pipelines, as humans are known to want to, be seen, be heard, and with the advent of the mobile phone also, quite a lot of people feed into all these digital pipelines. And this just creates a huge amount of databases that big techs, marketing companies can mine and be able to draw conclusions either on user behavior or predict how how users will behave in future. So it's just really interesting that this time we have so much data to mine, and we have so many tools to help us understand that data. Okay, so AI empowers businesses to make informed decisions and tailor these customer experiences, streamlined operations, and stay well ahead of competition. So for me, if I will look at some of the use cases that I've experienced over the years, in marketing, where we've used technology to drive a lot of not necessarily innovation, but understanding the customer. There's been so many use cases, from predictive analytics. We're able to tell and say, oh, this is what the customer will do in a particular place, in a particular time. And there are other use cases such as chatbots. I remember when I was working in the telecom space, and the client needed, a more interactive way to gather feedback from consumers. We use chatbots that mimicked, human intelligence to make people want to, give up more information like they wouldn't normally do. So I had some experience, and some of the things we're even talking about today have been existing for over 10 years, But then now we talk about AI like the umbrella body, where anything that seems to be doing what a human is doing. But some of these things have actually been around. We also have use cases such as, very, very, very personalized content being tailored to specific, for specific consumption, because you understand the customer, right? You want to ensure that whatever content you're feeding to that particular customer is something, that will suit them best, or probably would initiate a best response from them. And then you have such use cases like dynamic pricing. So gone are the days when you have an advert and say glow 10 times or something. There's a fixed pricing. We're using AI right now to, individually price each consumer based on what they are. It could be their psychographics, it could be their iconographic, it could be anything, that you have access to, based on understanding either their journey up to that point. And then you can offer prices that are dynamic and well suited to them. You have tools that do that right now. You also have things like visual recognition. I was privileged to be part of a particular tool that we were using to mine data for major telecoms here in Nigeria. And we will use that tool to scan. I remember during COVID and pre-COVID into COVID, we use that tool to scan what everybody was talking about, because at that time, there weren't too many activities, people couldn't move about, marketing activities had, reduced. So we were able to use these tools to mine it up to, even just looking at, people's, voluntarily giving data like pictures and so on and so forth, to see where brands were being positioned, be able to look at the particular picture and see whether there's an Airtel logo somewhere, there's an MTN logo somewhere, there's a Glow logo somewhere, in what context was the person carrying a box, the woman carrying a box, and be able to take all of this data and build such not recommendation system, but predictive systems, like trying to understand sentiments, and see how that sentiment, is across the entire competition. So, I mean, that was really engaging for me. And that was even like some 3 to 4 years ago. So the use cases are just so enormous. And these are even more sort of like, really big business cases. And then there's some other very simple cases, even down the pipeline, where you are working on a marketing strategy, and then you're looking at, okay, where are the channels and what exactly are the strategies per channel? And you can use AI to sort of put that together in such a way that almost in a way that is a lot more easier to manage, and also less time consuming. Earlier I was saying that almost everybody's job is on the line with AI. It's not even just marketers, engineers. AI seems to even write better code these days. Software developers, are threatened. AI will come up with a strategy document that normally you would have to pay the likes of maybe Accenture, some of those big companies to come up with, because it has data and it thinks like a human. So there are quite a lot of use cases, but I'll be looking at this going down my presentation. All right, so according to a study by Epsilon, 80% of consumers are motivated and likely to make a purchase when brands offer personalized experiences more than ever before. If you see a lot of, I mean, if we use, I mean, if we're on digital platforms more, when I mean digital platform, maybe you use your phone for social media, or maybe you're just browsing the web and all of that. And then you look at the type of advertisements that you get, or the type of, sort of marketing communications that is pushed to you, you find that they are so well targeted now, and there's quite a lot, they're a lot better. They can tell if, oh, you are in a geographical location called Nigeria, and maybe you live in the US, and they will not just push something that they would push to someone that, it is consistently in the US to you. So yeah, I've seen that sort of pattern that, these behaviors are, even the models to themselves are learning, to be better, and, and each iteration appears to be better than the former. And that's what we're getting. The brands are able to offer highly personalized experiences to their customers. Okay, so let's look at it. Let's look at AI and talking about the match and why. I'm going to, okay, I want to move this box out of my way. Excuse me, I really don't use Zoom that much, so took me almost 3 minutes to get back on it. All right, so just quickly open my notes here, because it's quite some certain things I would like to share with us. 1 second, please. Okay. All right. So enhancing the customer experience with AI. So we're talking about, how the entire customer experience can be made better with artificial intelligence. Now, we also need to pay attention to this, because I know that we throw this artificial intelligence word around a lot. So artificial intelligence is not new. The Casio calculator we used to use in those years when we're going to school had some form of intelligence, except that it wasn't iterative in any way. It was something that was fixed. It couldn't learn to be better. But intelligence, AI as it is, has been around us for quite a while, and I must say, the way we've evolved, it's over the years, so it's evolved. Now, the recent noise around AI primarily has really been enameled by the rise of what's it called? The text-based models like ChatGPT, Google Bard, and the likes. That they fed a lot of data, and they've trained these models to be able to mimic human response. So, but we've been using AI for quite a long time. So now, if you're looking at the customer experience with AI, some of the things that I have found very, very, sort of very, very interesting in the past few years has been that in the past, it used to sort of be like a stereotype. We just go in a particular way. And right now, what we are seeing is that, with the advent of technology being accessible to all, human behavior or customer behavior can just change like this in a second. One time they loved this, the other time, they ate it. And what AI has done is to be able to learn from, each iteration of behavior that must have existed over time, to say this is the best way to engage with this customer at this time. And then we also have AI-powered marketing automation, where everything is automated these days. You don't need to get an agency to be your creative agency anymore. You don't need an agency to be your planning agency anymore. You don't need an agency to even do your PR. There are solutions out there that will take you from A to Z, and give you an entire 360 service, 360 output for whatever type of marketing activity that you need. And then there's, what you also find is that there's a lot of data-driven decisions being made with AI, and they're almost near to perfect in the sense that and I will come back to this one like near to perfect, because at some point they can only know based on what they've been fed. So if they don't have information, they don't have intelligence. That's how it is. So, but then when you look at, some of the decision-making process with AI, it's almost like almost near accurate. And sometimes we used to joke about this, that the machines of the future, there will be, in the future, there will be factories, and there will be a man and a dog at that factory. And the dog is just there to stop the man from touching the machines, because these things the automation has gone has become so powerful, and even beyond just marketing and manufacturing and so on and so forth. And data is driving everything. Data is driving everything. And the model that this AI type models, maybe a text model like ChatGPT, they keep feeding it information. And when you go in there and you're also putting your own stuff, it becomes part of the learning information. And you keep having, a system where everybody is feeding into, unknowingly, and it keeps getting better, and it keeps, learning better, and the model keeps, giving you better outputs. So when we're looking at enhancing this customer experience with AI, we're talking about personalization and customer segmentation. We're talking about predictive analytics for the customer behavior. Now, personalization would involve tailoring these product services and communications to meet the unique needs. What are the needs of this customer? AI leverages data analysis to understand these behavior patterns, like I said earlier. And imagine, for instance, maybe an e-commerce platform that uses AI algorithm, to analyze a customer's browsing and purchase history. And based on this data, the platform can recommend the products that align with the customer's experiences. So we're not talking about a recommendation system that says, okay, you have bought a book. People who bought this book also bought this. No, we're talking about your experience, your unique experience. What are the things you've done over time? And then we take all of this, and these algorithms are able to push recommendations to this user based on their purchase history or all the activities, not even activities that are done by other people, but their own activities on the platform. And this data, based on this data, the platform can recommend products aligned with that customer's experience, leading to a more personalized shopping experience. I've seen this happen on AliExpress app when I use it all the time. Sometimes I come in there and it could be that, maybe I bought a bike cover for my bike, and then I go in there and it's suggesting maybe another cover with studs, just something. It's building on the past experience to say, since this guy bought this, he might be interested in buying this again, but in maybe a better format, or a better design, just some other alternatives. Okay. And like I said earlier in my first slide, that 80% of customers love it when you personalize that experience. It's like, oh, you have me in mind, and that's why you did this. And now let's look at predictive analytics for customer behavior. Now, predictive analysis, I'm sure it's not new to all of us, and it's basically using your history, trends, and everything to forecast what you might actually do. And in marketing, it helps in predicting what products a customer might be interested in, enabling targeted marketing campaigns and strategies. And for instance, let's take an example. A subscription-based system like Netflix will use AI algorithms to analyze viewing history and user preferences. I know sometimes when I log into my Netflix account, and then I tell everybody, hey, you cannot use my account because I try to look at there's some certain kinds of content I watch, and if I get someone using my account to watch another kind of content and I log in there, that experience won't just blend, because I'll be like, oh, why is this one showing? Then I'll have to keep searching and be looking. So, but if you have a unique experience, AI is able to, the algorithm they use will suggest, those type of shows that it feels are very similar in terms, and they'll put so many things into consideration beyond just oh, maybe the category is orange. It's not just about the category. Let's talk about the time. Let's talk about how many times during the movie you interacted with the system. Interaction could be, or maybe you picked up your remote, you paused, or you stood up, and maybe you switched off the screen, or maybe you just you did a rewind. So all of that activity, they capture everything. That's able to tell the chemistry you have with whatever content that you're watching, and they take all of this to predict if you do the same with another type of content. Now, this is pretty new, because in the past it would just be just doing recommendation systems that very simple algorithms would do, and you say, okay, he watches Western movies. So let's just bring up all the entire Western library and just slap it on the rooster. But that doesn't happen now. We want to know, okay, he likes to watch Western movies. What kind of Western movies does he like to watch? Does he like to watch movies that has, mostly directed by Quarantino, or he likes to watch Western movies where there's a lot of shooting, or maybe Western movies are Mexican, and it keeps learning over time based on what you keep watching to keep recommending. So based on this analysis, Netflix predicts what TV shows or movies a user may enjoy and would offer specialized recommendations. So we've seen this before, but what I'm saying is this is a lot finer now. It's almost like technology has our jugular veins and can just direct us however we want. And before we even say, this is what I like, it says, this is what this is what we know you will like. So we also have, for marketing automation, like I said earlier, we have for campaign optimization and efficiency, and there's quite a lot happening even in this space. Now, AI-powered marketing automation would use algorithms to optimize your marketing campaigns in real time. So that's already happening. I mean, on some certain platforms, like on social media, they will advise you to say, you know what, let's just tell us how much you want to spend. We'll do the rest. You don't need to do anything. So what's your goal? You want people to come to your website. We have better algorithms to push these ads to the right people. I know professionals will come in there and say, oh, they know how to do this better, and they can understand. But guys, I am telling you for free and for true, the AI automation works a lot better, gives you better results than anything anybody puts up there. And in the past, it wasn't as accurate, but now over time, because all of this has been a journey, over time it has gotten a lot better. You sit back, relax, and watch, those sales leads coming. You watch those clicks coming. You watch those buys and purchases being made. So if a particular ad is performing well, the AI may allocate more budget to it for increased reach and conversions. That is already happening, but there was a Salesforce study where it was seen that 67% of marketing leaders are now using these automation tools, and on an average, they see a 20% increase in sales opportunities from nurtured leads versus non-nurtured leads. And then we'll also talk about chatbots, because if there's, for a lot of us who are in this webinar, probably our first contact with our modern day AI would have been chatbots, where you go to maybe a website and this is a chatbot that is telling you or offering you service or trying to help you navigate or make the whatever journey you want on that website, make it a very easy one, point you to where you want to go, so you don't get lost, and all of that. And chatbots they've become a lot better. They enhance the customer service by providing instant response to inquiries, and some of them are so very, very, very close to accurate. I remember. I know sometimes I used for the Bank of America, they have this chat service. Initially, I didn't even know it wasn't human, because the thing is able to talk to me like it's human. All of their what's it called? Their voice, their telephony voice, whatever. They take commands, and they'll just ask you, so what would you like us to help you with today? And you just speak, you talk to them like you normally talk to a human, and they would understand that, okay, someone just went into your bank account and moved all your money, and they know where to quickly direct you or what to quickly do at that time. They have gotten so better. And an example too can be like a retail company that implements a chatbot on his website to assist customers, like I said earlier, maybe they have product inquiries and so on. So a study by Juniper Research predicts that by 2023, which is this year, chatbots will help businesses save over 8 billion annually and up to about 20 billion in that's up from 20 million in 2017. And now this is interesting because I know we will say, okay, is the AI, all these AI tools, are they not just cutting off people in the job market? Not necessarily, but I'll get there. I'll get to that discussion very soon in my next, in my other section. Now, data-driven decision making with AI. People are harnessing big data for marketing insights. I remember my days in the telecoms, and we would work on big data. We would do marketing reports. We'll do all sorts. And our problem is always like, the decision makers never use all these insights that we share. But it's imperative right now that data should guide whatever decision making you are trying to make. And AI is making it a lot better. There are AI tools that can help you, pass through a lot of data and, bring you informed reports. There are AI tools that you can train your data with to even help you understand what you should do, what you're doing wrongly. And, to even make it a lot interesting, some of these tools and models work in real time, and they give you just real-time insights, and you're able to see what's working, what's not. I remember we had a tool one time from a company in Luxembourg called TalkWalker, and it was their first iteration at that time, and I could use that software to scrape data across Nigerian websites. So I had scraped quite a lot of data, data that was given to me ethically, let me use that word, ethically. And we had other data that were industry data. We had other data that was based off the client's network information and all of that, and we overlay everything. And it was so interesting that the platform could predict. So we could pick a particular competition. For instance, say hypothetically we use MTN, and we say, what are the likely campaigns MTN might be breaking in the next 2 months? And this solution will maybe not near accurate, but it gives you an insight into whatever thing they have been doing, how people have been responding, and what they may likely be doing. And it also, and with further data analysis, like you could deep dive, you could do all of that. I remember one time for this particular client, there was a crisis, and they didn't know how to. They didn't have an understanding of how to manage it. So they were managing, so it was more reactive, as the cases. And we're able to use this tool to see who made the first tweet, up to when, which location, what street was the person when the person made that tweet. That's the amount of crazy data that is out there. And you will think that, some of these things are even, because this was like 2019, and then, not too many people in Nigeria. I felt maybe, you won't have a lot of Nigerian data in that space, but we're there. We could see it up to street to street. So there's that opportunity to do like real-time analytics. You break a campaign, you want to see how it is performing almost instantly. You want to, measure the what's it called, the sentiments across the entire maybe geopolitical zone of Nigeria. So you want to even see it by state. You want to see how it is performing in Ikeja Computer Village versus how it is performing in Aja. There are tools to do this. I'm not saying it's like there are tools. I have used tools to do this. So all these tools use, because now the information has to be processed also in real time. So very, very high computational AI to pass through all this data and give you some meaningful analysis. So real-time analytics and reporting is something that is really big, and AI plays a crucial role in doing this, ensuring that marketing decisions are based on the most up-to-date. In fact, when I was working with this client, I guess one of the reasons why we did good work, or were seen to do good work, was because we could give that client real-time data. And AI allows us to do this. So the analysis will help marketers identify trends, sentiments in real time, timely responses, and adjustments to maybe your marketing strategy. I remember one time towards the end of the year, they used to have a campaign that they did, and we could tell instantly because the campaign had a little bit of emotional touch points, and we could tell instantly, where people were complaining, where people were not. From the first day of the campaign, breaking across Nigeria. So AI allows us to do this. And we cannot we can keep talking and talking and talking. A lot of what I've shared so far, I really, maybe business use cases, but we will see in just very few, I know I've covered, sorry, 1 second. I've covered all of this. Personal dynamic pricing. I talked about it earlier. I talked about this. All right. So I want to talk about how we can integrate AI into our marketing strategy. And I'll beg, because I'm a techie, saying AI is tantamount to a white person saying the nigger word. There is so much that makes this happen, even way beyond AI. So I'd rather say the word technology. So integrating tech into your marketing strategy, and 4 ways to integrate this is: you embrace, you don't replace. So I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Then also, you also have to be concerned about the ethical use, and the fact that there has to be continuous learning, because technology changes every 2 years, and you must also have so many different places where you can source your data, and I will explain why. So embrace, don't replace. While AI can automate and optimize various tasks, the human element in marketing remains irreplaceable. And rather than fight it, rather than unionize and say, oh, the writers are not going to write anymore because the major media networks are training their data. And we saw that happen in the US with the Writers Guild and Hollywood, where the big networks started feeding their past scripts and so on and so forth into models, to train them in such a way that all they just need to do is say Mr. Richard was a writer now. They say, in the style of Mr. Richard, can you write a 12-episode script, blah, 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 blah. And that thing will do it in like 1.5 minutes. It is crazy. And I was also talking about in academia, the initial pushback was, oh no, students can't use generative AI. They cannot do this, blah, 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 blah. I remember I was in a class. It was something that had to do with English. And the English teacher was like, that is so tired, that people will not punctuate well, they will not do this, that they should go to ChatGPT and just dump it there and say, reconstruct this. That was the lecturer saying, well, of course, the lecturer was told to go. I don't know, but I'm sure because he made a lot of us use ChatGPT. But the truth of the matter is that I feel like these things are here. They're not going anywhere. So as humans, what are we going to do? We need to find a layer above it, because in the true sense of it, nothing still beats human intelligence. About 2 months ago, no, that was in August, 2 months ago, I was in Arizona, and I just saw some cars just moving up and down. They had some LiDAR sensors all around them, and my wife was like, that what kind of cars are these ones that have all these gadgets and all that? I said, they're probably Google Maps. But I was just wondering, like, Google Maps they've been collecting data for years and years. This can't be Google Maps. So I just drove next to the car and I saw that no one was in the car and the car was just driving itself. So I was like, what? So I drove back home and I just went in there. I said, I started researching, cars driving themselves in my location, blah, blah. And I came up with with a service called Waymo. Apparently, Google owns Waymo. Almost about 4 or 5 of those big tech companies all came together to create this project. And I ordered for the Waymo. It came and took me around town for 1 hour. I was driving in this car. Nobody was driving it. That thing was so surreal. I even thought, okay, if the car came to me, there will be someone sitting on the driver's side. Nobody was there. There was a sign on the wheel that said, just sit back, do not touch anything. Do not touch the wheel. Just sit back. And this car drove me for the first 35 minutes to the mall and drove me back. This car knew when people were going to, jump and cross the road. It will stop. Cars will overtake the car. It will slow down. And, when I looked at the highest speed that, it accelerated up to, it was about 60 miles per hour. Probably that should be almost maybe 90 kilometers or 100 kilometers per hour. And nobody was driving it. And when I got to my destination, he looked for where to park and he parked and told me to calm down. So, and I just looked at it. For me, that experience was so surreal because, I was there was presence, there was everything. And I just said, the only way we can be on top of this, or the only way we can be part of this, isn't to fight it. We will embrace it or be a layer above it. And now I have heard that they've rolled it out in other what's it called, towns. And I know by next year, it's going to be all across America. They drive better. They use, and these technologies are they're not like electric car, some of these big things that we hear about. They are normal cars. It was a Jaguar car. It was a Jaguar FX, I think maybe F5 or something. It was a normal car and they built it into it. And I'm looking at that coming, that by the time it's perfected, every car would have it. There would not be traffic again. It's humans that cause traffic, simply because either we overanalyze or we overjudge. So, we can't fight it. So we are looking at how we can embrace it, because when there is a layer of human intelligence on artificial intelligence, it makes the output even a lot better. For some of the chat prompts, when you go in there and you do not ask it the right questions, you don't get. So if you are not intelligent in how you query the prompt, you talk to the prompt, you are not going to get an intelligent response back. That's how it is. Personally, I use AI in everything I do these days. If I'm writing, if I'm talking, in fact, everybody will be shocked to know that AI did this PowerPoint presentation. I just fed it a prompt and I said, I'll be talking to a few people who are based in Nigeria and, have a little bit of background around marketing, this and that. Just wanted, to define what my target would be like. And I said, my write-up was close to a page, because then you have to write it right to be able to, for it to be able to understand what or what exactly you wanted. We've come to our intelligence where we don't want to be typing anymore. Technology should do that. Or we should be overthinking stuff. Okay, this is what I want because I'm human. Machine, do it. So we need that balance where we embrace and not replace. So where is this embrace, not replace used? Look at campaign creation. Use AI to gather data and insight, but rely on human creativity to craft compelling narratives and design. There's a tool called Midjourney rather, that you use Discord. Discord is a chat server, and you can use the Discord service to pass text prompts to it. And, the amount of use since they've started by creative people has been enormous. It has been enormous. has been enormous. So customer interaction is also a key thing, because when you look at these chatbots also and how they can handle standard queries, complex issues. I remember a service called what was it called? So this was a landing page bot, and all it did was, for all marketing campaigns, you needed a landing page. This was the bot to go to. So from maybe a Facebook campaign, you pass it on to the landing page, and that's it. This bot would ensure that at the end of the day, even if you do not get a buy, you will get a lead. And it's always so, the structure was so something called maybe landbot.io. I can't remember. It's based out in France, but very, very effective way to take, to capture lead from marketing campaigns. So all of this is, based on that onus that as a marketer, you embrace it. It's not like it is there to take your job. It's going to make you shine and make your work even better. Also is the ethical use. And this can be thrown around for so many reasons. Like, there are people who say, okay, fine, what really is the ethical use of in IT, of data, and all sorts. And then there are companies who push a lot of these laws, but they themselves do not even follow it. It's when you look at it, the lines really blur there. How do you ethically use data? But as a marketer, you want to, be seen as a professional. Your data collection points, you may ensure that there's transparency, and you use, and you only collect data that you need. And while you do this, you can also use AI right from the onset, to sort of profile this kind of data. Will it work? Will it not work for me? Is this something I need? Is this something I should discard? And with predictive profiling, you can predict user behavior as it is here, and it's essential to avoid making assumptions that could, stereotype or misrepresent users, because, we find that a lot when there is, some over-analysis of data. Okay, and then continuous learning. It keeps changing. You must be on top of your game. There's no such thing as it's for the new. No, some of these tools are easy to use. They are very, idiot proof. Everybody, permit me to use the word, everybody can use it. Leverage it to its full potential, and just be updated. What's current, what's new. And the way you can do that, trainings and workshops. I was telling someone yesterday that all my life I've always been in one school. I have never stopped learning because and I think it's just, for me, it's something I can't let go, because while I'm in the space of learning, there is always that new thing that's going, I'm always updated about, okay, this is a new trend. And then collaboration. Some companies even right now, have some subject matter experts around AI, on board at all times, to help them understand some of this. Because I will tell you, that solution that we gave our clients in between 2018 and 2019, they never really used it to its full potential, because they didn't understand it. They didn't even understand the power it had. So in whatever thing for any marketing setup company, you should have some of these lead experts who are able to come in and say, and advise and say, look, let's help you guys understand this better by using this tool and tool and tool. So it isn't just so, so many things, because almost every facet of marketing has changed, and technology is seriously accelerating this change. All right. And the last one will be your data sources. Collect data from everywhere. Don't just say you're just everything only works on social media. I know in the US, you get more reactions. Sorry, you get more engagements on Facebook than almost all of North America. It's just Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. Instagram is practically non-existent. And then you come to Nigeria, you find a lot more people on Instagram than on all other platforms. So multi-channel insights is what you want. And aside from that too, if the opportunities to even collect offline data, there's nothing like too much data to understand this customer. And there are also AI tools to integrate and analyze from different sources, ensuring a seamless flow of information. All right, so let's look at future predictions for AI and marketing. There's going to be hyper personalization that's going to happen. Everything is going to be about me, you know. It's going to be about the customer. Okay, it entails crafting marketing experiences tailored to individual person as they are. You know, from the entire marketing strategy, from what's it called, initiation to execution, everything is about this particular customer. It will be that hyper personalized. And then we're going to have a lot of voice augmented reality marketing that is already coming up, because you know, everybody's looking at this chart as, this text-based one. Amazon isn't sleeping, Apple isn't sleeping. You're going to see more products come out that are voice augmented in this experience. So you have things like search. That's even already happening, but it's even going to get better. And then as many more consumer electronics, gadgets, and so on start accessing the internet via Internet of Things, there will be even deeper use of AI. For instance, I remember at the time when I used to live in Nigeria, almost in my house, I'd done all the automation up to the point where you just need to talk. There were speakers around the house and you just talk. If you wanted the light to go off, you could just say the command, the lights would go off. You wanted the TV to come on, you could just give the command for the TV to come on. If I was driving out of the house and I needed to arm my external cameras, I just talk. If I want to pump my water pump, I just talk. I remember we used to pressurize our water with another pump and we would turn it off, I would just talk. Maybe I want to have a bath and I need pressurized water. I would just talk that it should be on for 5 minutes. Everything. If I was going to be out for maybe travel and I'm not going to, I talk and it switches off everything. And when I'm up and about and away, say, it was so integrated up to the point where if I wanted my kids to watch TV up to a point, I didn't have to talk to the TV. I just needed to talk to the socket that was powering the TV. Anywhere I am, if I see that I can tell if they are still watching TV. And I can just tell it to shut down that TV. And they understand. I don't need to. So there's going to be a lot of integration with more IoTs more devices as they come enabled with IoT. And you can just imagine how AI will be helping to even collect data, because it's going to be collecting a lot of data too. It's going to be collecting a lot of data. And for marketers, every IoT device is a potential touch point. So a smart fridge can notify users when they are running out of milk and suggest brands. Wearables tracking physical activity can suggest nearby healthy feed farm food restaurants or workout gear discounts or what have you. And then, all of these things, things like, okay, maybe you even want to have a sense of, how your activities are directly what's the word? Affecting even your power consumption. You can have this is full profile. These are the things you have done. These are the things you've used, for that period. Now, there will be also so many challenges too for all of these things that we're talking about going to happen in the future. There's so much data. There'll be issues with security. There'll be issues with, but AI is going to make it better. I'm very confident about that. So that's all about my presentation. I don't know if anybody has any question they would like to ask.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Mr. Kola. Thank you. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you can put them on the Q&A chats and we can take them one after the other. All right, now I want the discussants to talk, Mr. Richard and Mr. David. The floor is yours also if there's anything you want to add or you want to also give your own insights. The floor is yours now, Mr. Richard. Okay, Mr. David is on also. Thank you.
Okay, can I go? Okay, that's fine. Fola, look, thank you so much for a job well done. I think you've kind of broken this down so much for people to understand, and I think you did a really good job of it. I wanted to say that, okay, two things I want to say. One, about the need not to fear AI, and secondly, what I think it's going to do for marketing. Let me start with the need not to fear AI. I think throughout human history, we've always worried about technology. But if you think about it deeply, the reason why humans are so much better than animals is because we're essentially tool builders. So if you think about it, humans can walk, but we probably don't want to walk 20 kilometers a day. And even if we could walk 20 kilometers a day, the horizon we will have in our entire lifetime will probably be around 100 kilometers of the radius of where we were born. But we built bicycles, we built cars, we built trains, we built airplanes, and that expanded by so many magnitudes what humans could do in terms of distance. There was a time when 99.9% of humans were farmers, because we needed to farm to feed. But we built tools, and in time, less than 1% of humans are farming and producing more food than the entire human race can consume, despite the fact that the human race has more than tripled in size. So we also built computers, not because we can't calculate. We can calculate, but computers can calculate in multiple times what we can do as human beings. So the reason why AI suddenly is coming to the fore and everybody's taking notice because its capability for the first time from an intellectual point of view is beginning to rival and in a lot of instances surpass what human intelligence can do. But just like we were able to increase our distance compared to what we could walk or farm or calculate, AI is coming to in multiple times, double, triple, multiple times what humans can do in terms of what we call intelligence. In every case, we were always scared of it. But eventually the human race will find ways to use it and we'll move on to doing other things. So I think there's nothing to fear. Then in terms of marketing, I think all marketers should just embrace this. And I'll tell you why. It starts from the simplest of things to the most complicated things to do in marketing. Because the holy grail for a marketer is to understand your customers at the individual customer level. Why haven't we done this in the past? The reason we haven't done this in the past is because we just didn't have the capabilities and the tools to analyze the huge amount of data we get down to the individual level. So we cluster customers. We say, oh, the youth segment, the high value customers segment, the mass market segment. We cluster customers because that was the best we could do. But me and you know as marketers that if you dig deep into a particular segment, for example, and look at the customers in that segment, they are so different from each other in so many other ways. So imagine a tool that enables you to understand your customer down to the individual customer level. We should be so grateful. We should be so happy to embrace a tool like this. Then there are some mundane things I've spent time on. Let me give you an example. We want to run campaigns. I used to work in MTN, so we want to run campaigns. We spend 3-4 days strategizing around concepts and ideas and things we would like to do. And I sit here and I put a prompt in ChatGPT as an example. And within 30 seconds, this thing gives me an elaborate analysis of the kind of campaigns one can consider. And I just imagine, what if I had this tool then? What if all I had to do was look at the options I've been given and the debate is around which of these options will be the best one we want to do? And not spend days just trying to conceptualize and ideating what we wanted to do. So my personal view is, like all technologies, initially we are scared of them. People think, oh, I'm going to lose my job. it is disruptive in nature, it's going to change a lot of things. That's fine. It's always happened throughout history, human history. But the capability, the scope of what this tool can do for marketing is enormous. I liked one slide Paula showed when he said, embrace, don't replace. The earlier we begin to say, let's embrace this tool, let's begin to see what we can do with it as marketers, as against trying to fight it or think it will not come, the better for us. Because it's here, it will keep getting better. We better start learning how to use it. That would be my little contribution to this conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richard, and thank you so much for that. What I would like to say is,
Hello, sir. We cannot hear you properly. Your audio is a bit obscured. If you could just check that. It's not very clear. Okay.
Margaret,
Yes,
can
sir.
we take some of the questions while
Yes,
you're waiting
yes.
for him to come back? There are two
Yes.
questions already in the chat box.
All right. For Mr. Fola, we have a question here that says, do you think AI can phase out human intelligence? Somebody is asking. And the second question says, is this, there is so much war right now with the likes of Elon Musk and some other billionaires going against further AI development. Do you think this is a good war to wage, or we go against the world tech leaders? I would like you to answer these two questions if I take the last one. So please do.
All right. So, I mean, and this is just in my own opinion, human intelligence is really vast, you know, and I see humans as complex biological constructs, you know, firing instructions to one another. I mean, complex structures, you know, with some form of, you know, system that is just well managed. And our intelligence seems to be such that over the course of history, from the dinosaur era, prehistoric eras, almost about 3 or 4 or 5 eras, we have persisted and our intelligence has gotten a lot better. So I don't see where, and AI is just, you know, an expression of our intelligence. Now, Mr. Richard also mentioned some certain things that you know, it can help us do very quickly, which is what technology does really. You know, technology is able to, you know, take you from point A to point B faster than you would have walked with your legs. But it doesn't mean that, you know, technology acts, you know, would have those kind of legs, you know. So I mean, if you now compare that to intelligence, you found that for even some of the newer iterations of even ChatGPT, there are some times when they just get it wrong. And some very simple prompts that you would ask a child, they can tell, you know, putting everything into perspective, whether the location, the frame of mind, the person, you know, and just give you an answer that is better or more accurate. So I see that our intelligence is still a lot better. I don't know. I'm also a believer in technology, so I would not say that at some point are we not going to get to that point where you know, the machines will be a lot more intelligent than us. But for now, no. But in the future, probably. If some of us have watched the movie The Matrix before, if you watch the 1, 2, 3, and he talked about how machines got better by, you know, putting us, making us believe that we're going to win. And over the time, they did it for almost 7 years. And in the 7th iteration was what we used, that we watched in the movie. And at that point, they introduced so many things. So, you know, these systems will keep learning and they'll keep learning, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, they may get better. And that's why we need to engage now. You know, there are a few things I feel like humans didn't, some of the products post the internet era, like social media, that we just, everybody should be able to express themselves. But we've seen some of the demerits of having everybody to be able to express themselves, you know. But with AI, I would think that if humans can engage very early enough to create, you know, the laws, regulations, and so on and so forth, of course, we'll be able to guide this new form of intelligence in the way that it will be more beneficial to us, make our existence even better, you know, our experience as humans, you know, something really better. So is it a yes or a no? There's no direct answer. But for now, I think we are still on top. But in future, who knows? And then for the second question, okay, that question has disappeared. Okay, let me click on answered. So it says that there is so much war right now with the likes of Elon Musk and some other billionaires going against further AI development. Do you think it's a good war to wage, or go against the world tech leaders? Well, personally, I don't like Elon Musk because I feel he had too much money, and, you know, some of those things I used to like him for in the past, you know, he's just misbehaving now. That's some of the things you see that he's been doing. But I feel he's a showman because he's well vested even in AI. I know that he has quite some certain, you know, startups that he has backed, you know, and these are just pure, you know, artificial intelligence companies that are also doing something similar to, you know, all these text-based models that we have, like ChatGPT. Everybody wants a pie there. But I think all the war Elon is maybe making is probably because he didn't get there early enough. So that's my opinion. Do you think it's a good war to wage? I just think Elon Musk is just having fun. It's not waging any war, and it shouldn't be taken seriously.
Can I keep in something there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I agree with you on some of the personality traits of Elon Musk around getting money and misbehaving and commenting on things that are really unnecessary now. But there's a fundamental issue around AI and the control of AI that I think is actually quite right on, and I think we need to take that seriously. And it's good to look back in history a little bit to understand why. So remember that every tool we make, tools are neutral in nature. So what happens is you decide to put it to good use or to bad use. So if you take nuclear power, for example, it has the potential to generate power for us almost limitless, but you can also develop nuclear weapons from it. You take the simple knife we use, it can help you, you know, skin your goat, cut your food, but you can also use it to kill human beings. Artificial intelligence also has the ability, if not controlled, to be put into the hands of those who wish to do harm to the world. And the fight, I think, is that companies need to pause and think around the consequences of what they are putting out in the world, because there will be repercussions we have not foreseen. And the call is that governments need to put some control, some regulations around things like this. So I don't think the call is that they must stop. The call is really around, can we have some control around this, how this thing happens? And there's an example someone gave that I kind of liked. Right now, if you let's assume we have general artificial intelligence already running now, and you tell it to maximize the production of simple office clips, as an example, and there's no control. This thing has the ability to go out into the world and finding the raw materials, for example, in this instance, iron to make steel, to produce clips. And it will deny every other use for those raw materials. exclude every other thing because it's been told to maximize the production of clips. That's the prompt has been given, which means every other use we put iron to or steel to, every other production of iron and steel we have in the world can potentially be impacted negatively because this thing has been put out there and all it's looking for is fighting to get steel and iron to get clips. It's a simple example around what an innocent prompt to a machine that says to the exclusion of every other thing, maximize the output for clips. As irrelevant as clips are to the world, it can exclude the production of every other thing because it's been told to maximize this. So just imagine if people with nefarious intent put such machines out there for some other things, what it can do. So the call really is let the government, like they regulate every other thing, have regulation around how this tool is put to use. And I think that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So taking that further a bit, in the sense that I read an article, and the article was talking about how the educational institution in the US was against the usage of AI in school, especially for students. And at some point, just like we discussed earlier, also they were backing out a bit. Now, the role of the government, I feel the government needs to still, come up with some form of, legislation so that they can control the usage or the usability of AI. And that article was also talking about the creation of, of firewalls, especially for computer-based tests or for computer-based examination, that, you won't be able to interfere, with AI answers, let me put it that way. Just the same way you can know when you bring in, text, or you bring in information copied from the internet into, a particular subject matter that you're supposed to submit, and you're able to detect that this particular content, was lifted from a particular website of some sort. So I believe that, in the nearest future, like tomorrow, government will have to throw in some form of legislation to control, the usage or the usability of artificial intelligence, just like Mr. Richard said earlier on.
Well, so, let me just also add to that. So the role of government cannot be overemphasized. And if you recall, I also said that we humans need to be a layer on top. But you see, someone like Elon Musk is a rouser, they have been killing machines, whether they were AI or non-AI, that have been built by governments over the years. That are all, almost all the F-15 fighters and all of that are flown with computational AI. These are some technologies. They've built killer machines. So, but in the moment, I feel like people like Elon Musk and the likes, and with all the money that they have, just become so irresponsible, even when they are trying to drive home, because I can't take him seriously when he says this, then he says this. So that's one. Then secondly is the issue here really is regulation and government being a layer on top. Okay, government had done. I remember when with the invention of the internet, well, quote unquote, the invention of the internet, and the guys who worked on the internet just thought about it like, okay, people can be able to send emails to one another. They've been doing this since like 1984, 86, send messages across packets, and so on. And then we now had, some new products when, we had the World Wide Web come up, and we could have websites, and then we started becoming even more creative, like, okay, we can have this and that. One of the major, when government didn't step into quote unquote regulate, there was regulation like, okay, how computer networks should talk to one another, the domain naming system. There were some of those things that were done. But in terms of, an ethical sort of framework for how technology and humans should correlate. It is so important. They didn't do it for the internet, the WWW. And about a year or two after, what we saw was that one of the highest, one of the highest source of traffic on the internet were porn websites.
Yes.
I mean, almost about 80%. So, and then we moved past that era, into the era of social media, and all of that. There was an opportunity for government. I mean, these are people's profiles, people's lives. Google was collecting everybody's data without. I mean, Google can show you where you have been in the past 20-something years.
Yeah.
So, yes, government has a place to play, because with every generational change or use of technology, if it is not guided, what you're going to get is you're going to get all of these misfits to come in. But people like Elon Musk just jump on the rouse. Okay, I'll give you an example. With the Gen Zs, we had, the technology for blockchain came out. When blockchain came out, it wasn't about speculating or speculations or financial speculations or whatever. It was just about, with all these, what's it called? All these non-integrated platforms, we want to be able to cut out the middleman, to have smart contracts. It was as simple as that. But because this thing wasn't guided, there was no ethical framework as to the use. We had certain things like, Bitcoins. We had certain things like all these financial speculations. I know how many people lost so much money. Yes. So would you call that? So it's always a problem with the government. In some certain countries across the world now, if you realize, government is now stepping in, like in India, where they don't have TikTok anymore.
Yeah, and in China.
And even in China.
Yes.
So I think government has a major role to play. With AI now, I mean, what we're saying is AI is just an advancement of some of these technologies, because they can think a little bit themselves. Okay, but we have always been using technology to cause harm. Even in the rule of war, I mean, some of the rules for war, there are rules for engagement, there are rules for how you're able to evacuate, citizenry. There are rules for how you must not shoot a civilian, and there are also some of those rules that they have created. But when it comes to technology use, it's just left to the whiff. And then everybody who has a mobile phone these days just believe that, he's a content creator, he's bigger than the president of the country, he has an opinion, he must be heard. So I'm in support. It's not like I'm not in support of what, some of the points Mr. Elon Musk makes, but I just feel it's just a noisemaker. When you have so much money, you can make so much noise.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Fola and Mr. David. We'll also be moving on to, we have another speaker. Oh, sorry, I was speaking on mute. Apologies. As I was saying, thank you very much, Mr. Fola and David, for your contributions. We will be introducing Mr. Bolaji Okusaga to speak. His presentation is up. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome.
Good evening. I know our time is fast spent. Thank you, Fola, for real great elucidation on the place of AI in marketing. However, I just needed to come on board to try to create some kind of structure to this conversation, so that we can identify the technologies and the fact that they are underscored with some form of artificial intelligence, but that market technology as different from financial technology, which is fintech, market technology is a much more complex phenomenon, because it operates across a spectrum. And I'm going to be showing you how to simplify the complexity. That's all basically we're going to do. So I've talked about, so this presentation is titled Precision Marketing, the Place of Technology in Marketing. So basically, there is disruptions across industries currently, and technology is at the heart of that disruption. So from commerce, you put technology into it, it becomes e-commerce, and all manner of things are happening within that space. That's also underscored with artificial intelligence. There is financial technology, which is fintechs, revolutionizing payments. You put currency and technology, then you have what you call cryptocurrency, rethinking the entire financial system. There is agri-tech, which is looking at precision farming and all of that. But you see, there's something interesting about market technologies. Market technologies actually, the whole idea is about aiding precision in the way we market, in the way we target the consumer. But unlike financial technology, which is basically so focused on payments, whether it's on the savings side or the transaction side, it's focused on payments. Whether you are talking about the rise of cryptocurrency, it's still focused on creating an alternative payment system. But with marketing technology, it operates across a spectrum. It's not just focused on one thing, even though it is focused on the consumer, but the manifestation of it is such that it manifests across a spectrum. And how does this spectrum work? Basically, it just works in 5 silos: data and analytics, technologies that tap into data, try to organize data, and try to deliver some insights from the data. To customer management, technologies that help you manage the customer. To content management, technology that help you manage the message and the content you put out there. To location services, technologies that identify where you are and are able to look at the peculiarity of those locations in determining the kind of insights to deliver or the kind of experiences to deliver to you. Or is it mobile marketing, which is also tapping into a tool that has become more like ubiquitous now. We probably have forgotten the fact that we ever lived without mobile phones some 25 years ago. Today, it's like the mobile phone has become our second nature and has become a primary identity marker for a lot of us. So, in these 5 buckets help us to analyze some of the trends around the use of artificial intelligence. And to that extent, we'll just be looking at a couple of them. So data and analytics, how does it work in that bucket? I mean, the primary thing is that you are tapping into some form of big data collected across, different consumer types and trying to make some kind of decisions based on the insights that's thrown up from, the analytic tools so deployed. Then you move from there to predictive analytics, which uses basically machine learning and predictive analytic models, to be able to forecast customer behavior and to be able to tap into business trends therefrom, helping to better predict outcomes of marketing, helping to better predict how you can convert a prospect to a customer, because, this technology is all about learning and prediction. Now, to real-time analytics, this one operates on an ongoing basis and is able to deliver insights on the go, so that even if you are doing a marketing campaign now and things are going wrong, data is able to feed through to let you know what's going wrong so that you can reshape your intervention in order to be able to properly tap into, the consumer's likes, dislikes, and manifest behavior. Outside of this, you also, we talked about analytics. It's become a big thing. We've spoken about, the whole idea of big data. But there's also the issue of security and privacy. I mean, and that has become a major issue. I mean, we have an analytic tool now that is able to actually tap into the social media ecosystem, but the issues we're having with integration has to do with security and privacy. So we're having to, sign all manner of privacy agreements to be able to, allow, tap into some form of APIs, either at the level of Facebook, Twitter, and all of that, and it keeps changing because the whole rules around security and privacy is also something you must note. I mean, Fola had spoken earlier about the opportunities, but with the opportunities also come the challenge. You know, before data privacy and security became an issue, I mean, platforms were just indiscriminately availing consumer data without prior consent of the consumer, you know, to people who probably who made most of the time mischievous use of them. We saw what happened in the American election with Cambridge Analytics in 2016. And we saw the outcomes of that across the world and how that has affected the way privacy and security is viewed. So there are technologies that help to manage issues around data privacy and security. Now we move from data and analytics to customer management. The technologies in this bucket are essentially, you know, the grandfather of them, which is the CRM, the customer relationship management tool, which helps to provide valuable data. Also underscored by data, but it's purely focused on the customer. And it's because of the buying behavior and the nature of the interaction of the consumer, of the customer, it is able to set up platforms to either send out sales or marketing messages and be able to manage, you know, the entire commercial process around the customer. And these are technologies too that are heavily now dependent on artificial intelligence. I mean, you look at customer segmentation technology as well. These guys go, you know, this looks at how do I break down customers by geography? How do I break them down by demography? How do I break them down by psychography and other behavioral elements so that I can be able to have a much more, you know, what you call a greater hold in terms of precision in trying to convert, you know, the customer. Now, then you, of course, Fola has spoken about chatbots and AI assistants. These guys, you know, like you said, they begin to send a lot of call centers. They are beginning to make them redundant, and a lot of them are closing up because the chatbots and the AI assistants are filling in and are able to actually assist customers and you know, personalize recommendations and actually do, you know, end-to-end customer support, enhancing overall customer experience. And it's basically underscored by AI as well, but operating within the customer management bucket. Now, if you move further, you'll find that there's also the customer feedback and sentiment technology. Also, you know, what's the customer saying? Is it neutral? Is it negative? Or is it positive? How do we tap into those sentiments to be able to inform how we market, what we do with our brands and our products? And these technologies are available across the spectrum. Now, Fola has also spoken about market automation platforms, which basically, you know, helps to create personalized customer journey based on user behavior. And then it creates automated workflows that can send targeted email messages and content to customers at the right time across the product life cycle. Now, beyond the customer management bucket, there's the content management, because every marketing endeavor starts with messaging. And except the messaging, you know, aligns with the sentiment of the consumer, you're not likely to, you know, convert. And so, to that extent, there are technologies that help with content management, from the A/B testing experimentation technology. We basically just test different marketing messages, images, and strategies, and then analyzing the results and better, you know, helping you to better use the right kind of image, the right kind of register, the right kind of keywords in trying to get across to the consumers. I mean, there are technologies that help you do that. And these technologies are also tapping into, you know, artificial intelligence as well. There's the AI content personalization, which is, you know, like a CMS system that helps you to understand the customer and to be able to use the right kind of content, you know, that will write. I mean, say, for instance, that consumer is either gay or straight. You want to be able to understand the sexual orientation to be able to sell a product, you know, that speaks to sexuality, for instance. And AI content personalization tools help you, you know, to be able to achieve this. There are also other AI-powered personalization engines that dynamically adjust website content, email, campaigns, and product recommendation based on individual user behavior and preferences. Also within the content management bucket. I mean, then the fourth bucket is the location technology. I mean, this one basically just taps into the consumer's location. So there's the geo-targeting and location-based marketing, which generally enables you to target consumers within their geographic location and to understand the peculiarity of that location in delivering a product. For instance, if it's a hot location and you can target products like ice creams and things that help cool the consumer. If it's a cold location, you know the right kind of things that will ride in those locations. And these are technologies that are actually in great use at this moment, and a lot of them are actually underscored with artificial intelligence. I mean, there's the shopper marketing one, which essentially helps track the customer. Once you get in store, the tool begins to follow you and helps you to manage your shopping experience, and it operates across, from the brand to the consumer and then to the retailer, the owner of the store. So you find that these technologies help, to redirect consumer preferences in a very, very smart and intelligent way. I mean, and the last of it is mobile marketing, which is essentially tapping into the most ubiquitous tool that was ever created by technology, that has become a primary identity marker. If I want to understand, if I want to know have any information about you, once you have a GPS attached to your phone, I'll know where you live. I'll know your last search, the kinds of things you like to go on the internet to search for. I will know the places you visit socially and all of that. And this aids mobile marketing. And so to that extent, there are a lot of mobile apps and SMS marketing tools that deliver highly targeted messages to users based on their mobile behavior and location. And I mean, these are technologies that are varied in their hue and in their type. So unlike financial technology, which is fintech, which is basically focused on payments, market technology is actually much more complex and it works across a spectrum. So in conclusion, I mean, market technology is a highly dynamic and developing phenomenon. And needless to state that, I mean, Nigeria cannot play the ostrich in trying to actually play catch up so that we can better create an economy that thrives on, tapping into consumer preferences in the design of products, to the marketing of the same products, to building equity for these products and converting them into brands that become resilient and loved across the cycle. So I just want to end it there. The whole idea is to create some kind of structure for the conversations we've had. And so if you have any question, I'm well able to take that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I know your time is fast spent, so I don't want to bore you too much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that very great presentation and insight. Mr. Fola, if you have any contributions, any feedbacks, or you want to also speak on this, please. And Mr. David, you can speak after Mr. Fola. Thank you.
All right. I think, thank you, Mr. Bolaji Okusaga. So, I mean, we are all talking in the same direction, and thank you too for some of those additional insights too that you have shared. We've been saying, it's about embracing it. It's not like it's going to replace anything. Of course, there are marketing solutions as they are, and marketing services or solutions tailored to services. Nonetheless, AI has proven to be something that will, help some of these solutions probably deliver their services even better. So it's something that is here to stay, So, and I encourage every marketer to consider using this. It's not about our jobs being on the line or whether it will become irrelevant or the profession will become irrelevant. Of course, there will be job loss, but then I feel what AI will do is to make us even better humans, just as technology has made us, or other types of technology have made us better humans. So that's my addition.
So just to add to what Mr. Bolaji has said, and in Teon Engine, we've been able to develop solutions in helping and using AI to develop solutions to predict market trends. And one of the solutions we've been able to use to develop is Brantion. And some of these solutions, we're going to demo it and do a thorough analysis on our next webinar. So we've been able to use another of our solutions is Teon, and we use that with market trends and influencer analysis, and we bring a convergence of influencers and brands together to be able to better push out ideal marketing analysis, ideal marketing pathways. So with tools like Teon, brands are able to make decisive and better judgments when pushing out marketing trends or marketing adverts, because they are able to use the ideal influencers for the right places.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a question here for Mr. Bolaji. I would quickly like him to take it on. It says, Mr. Bolaji, can you please elucidate how AI can be leveraged to measure and evaluate the impact of a PR campaign? What tools exactly can be deployed? This is from Abiodun. He's asking this question.
Yeah, there are a lot of tools. It depends on what you're trying to evaluate. There's been these conversations around, PR is all about engendering mentions. And we say, no, it's not about mentions, because a lot of, in this era of media clutter, mentions can actually go unnoticed. So some people talk about, oh, once I come on the front page of this day, then I probably have scored a PR hit. I'm not quite sure that that's true. You need to look at what's the current circulation numbers of this day and what's the pass around value. And then, or once I come on board certain blogs like Linda Ikeji and Co for lifestyle issues, I probably have scored a hit. You probably might not be right. So there are tools that help to track the circulation if it's offline, and the hits if it's a web, and be able to calculate mileage if all you want to do is about mileage and but in terms of traction, what you're actually looking for is engagement. So you create conversations that generate the right type of engagement, and of course there are tools that help you measure engagements so that you can then be able to draw inference in terms of the attention that you've been able to procure from the PR messages that you've pushed out. So we moved, the age from just calculating mere PR value based on mentions to actually understanding who saw what and how did they react to it. So there are tools like that. In Precise, for instance, we have tools like the Precise tracker that helps you to manage the campaign and helps you to look at the PR value based on hits, based on engagement. And of course, Edikan has also spoken about another tool that we've developed to be able to look at, influencer marketing, especially from a PR perspective, and how conversations around your storytelling will probably be indicative of the kind of impact and mileage that you procured. So there are a couple of tools that exist across the spectrum. Like I always say to people, it is always very difficult to start and end a marketing campaign with one tool. It depends on your intention. So you would have to use a multiplicity of tools and technologies in order to be able to get some kind of a 360-degree approach to, measuring traction, impacts, and, beyond just visibility, and some of the other old kind of measurement metric that were in place before now. I hope that answers Abiodun's question.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Another question here says, after AI, what should the world expect next, and how soon is it likely to happen?
I think you should leave Fola to answer that.
Yes,
He's speaking about predictive models in AI.
Yes,
so let's.
Yes. So, Mr. Fola, if you can answer this, it says, after AI, what should the world expect next, and how soon is it likely to happen?
Yeah, of course. So it's going to happen. Like I said, technology will change almost every 2 years. And you can see that trend too with a lot of the social media platforms where it appears as if, they cannot ideate any further. And they're just trying this and that, just so they can, keep people specifically hooked on one platform. So yeah, we're going to see, like I said earlier, hyper personalization is going to happen. There'll be solutions to identify users, understand who they are better than they understand themselves. So that's going to happen. And then, as a lot of post-COVID, a lot of businesses, services, and everything going online, there will be a need to create a convergence point, and there'll be more technologies, that would enable people to even communicate better, device-to-device communication. We already see that happening. AI is already, we have smart farms where the IoT devices on the farm, and they can tell when it's time for harvest, and they boycott the farmer to call the harvesting companies and schedule an harvest. So, things like that, we're going to see quite a lot more automation. You're in an accident, God forbid, and they're rushing you to the hospital. Before you get to the hospital, all your vitals have been taken from your smartwatch and has been passed on to the paramedics, being passed on. It could even go by the paramedics to the hospital where they're taking you. And when you arrive, they already know what to do. So we're going to see a lot of that. Beyond that, too, there are exciting things around robotics that we're also going to see more of, because automation too is moving at the pace at which AI too is moving. So a lot of the things that we do currently will be automated. Unfortunately, the problem I think we would probably also foresee is how we find the right balance between the adoption and use of technology versus, people losing jobs. Because I remember walking into a restaurant, and again, technology is also changing entire business models too. I walked into this restaurant, big restaurant, and they have places where people just sit, and there are no physical, like you see the food, one glass, or you're able to peruse, but there are digital screens everywhere. And in that restaurant, they have over 30 restaurants in one building with their screens. And all you just do is to go to a screen, look at the food, look at the video. You can even see how they are making it so they have like a back kitchen where everybody's cooking from. And you place your order right there, you make payments right there, and a robot goes, so it tells you on the screen, it gives you like an estimated time when your food, when you can pick up your food. And lo and behold, when my food was ready, it was a robot that brought the food to brought the food to the table. So I was looking at that model like, okay, back in the day, it would have been, everybody having somewhere where they can sit. But now it's different. So we're going to see a lot of automation happen. The business models too will change. So that should be expected.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Fola, for that very insightful response. I think we'll take one last question and we can end the session today. So this one says, shouldn't the world be scared of the negative effects robotics or AI could have if misplaced in the wrong hands? And how vast are the regulatory policies currently?
Okay, well, I think if the person was part of this session, we had talked about the need to regulate, the need to engage and not replace, the need to have government regulate. I remember one time the Nigerian government was going to regulate social media, and everybody cried like their life depended on it. But that is going to happen at some point, because that's how you control and you can create all sorts of frameworks to ensure that there are systems to check things like this, like the use of, putting technology in the wrong hands. And then should we be scared? Well, I don't think as humans, we keep learning. I don't think we got here by being scared of anything, even the things we never really understood. So I don't think we should tread on the path of fear, but essentially, if we feel that, these tools are so powerful to shape our futures and all of that, we need to get on board early enough to ensure that the right systems are in place to have that checks and balances so that we don't have wrong people using it for wrong stuff.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That was, I also feel we shouldn't be scared. I mean, we didn't get to where we are today by being scared of, delving into whatever needs to be delved into to get what we wanted. So thank you very much. I want to really appreciate all the people that were spoken today, Mr. Fola, Mr. David, the Chief Creative Officer of Experiential Concepts, Mr. Richard, the Chief Executive Officer of Papyrus Digital Solution Limited. Mr. Fola, what I'll call you now is a technology evangelist, because really you have preached the word of AI and technology basically today. And Mr. Bolaji Okusaga, I really appreciate the insights you've shared, and I want your presentation after this, please. Thank you very much, sir. And Eddie Khan, yes, he gives some very powerful insight, and I'm looking forward to the next webinar series where you'll be sharing some very useful analytics and insights to what Teon has been doing, as you called it. Thank you to everyone who attended today. I really want to say that I hope you had a very insightful one also, as I had done, and a special recognition to Marketing Edge. Yes, thank you very much from everyone here. We say a very big thank you for everything you've done. All right, see you all in our next webinar series, and have a very blessed week or weekend ahead.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye for now.